I think it is a very frustrating situation and even angering and disappointing, of course, when you, as an Indonesian woman who recently got married, now finds out that your husband is lazy. He don't really gives a damn about your newborn baby and doesn't take care at all. Yeah. So this is the story of one of my Indonesian friends who actually just got divorced and had to move to Taiwan now to earn money for her 7-year-old child. Yeah. The thing is, I want to talk about the guys who are visiting the dating sites, yeah, because on the dating sites, if you are someone who likes to frequent the dating sites, and if you are, I don't know, more on the shy side and things like that, you will notice that, depending on your age, of course, but if you are, let's say, in your mid to late 30s, 40s and even 50s, you will be approached by a lot of Indonesian single mothers. Yeah? And this is what I have learned and noticed also by myself. And yeah, I asked myself the question, why there are so many single moms in Indonesia. But of course it is not really representative, because the dating sites, you know, single moms target me or other guys. So maybe, you know, it's a little bit distorted ratio, but never mind. This is the impression I get. I get the impression that there are a lot of single moms here in Indonesia. Divorced, many divorced women. And why is that? Yeah? And why are these women contacting Western guys? What's the motivation? What's the reason? Yeah? Fact is that single moms in Indonesia they are in a difficult situation because of the culture. Yeah? I talked about this in other videos. I released a video also a few months ago, whether or not you should date Indonesian single moms, the pro and cons. But yeah, this is the situation for these women, you know. They are looked down upon. It is like it is. This is the culture here. Also, Indonesian men don't want to really get involved with single Indonesian single moms, you know. So when I single mom, I mean also the woman can already actually be divorced and now she is single again. Okay, it's not like she never married but got pregnant. These are also single moms. But Indonesian men don't really, they are not really interested to take care of a child who does not belong to him. And also the man's family is there's pressure coming from the man's family also. So these women, you know, even it's not their fault that they got divorced, they still have needs, right? They have needs and they want to meet their needs, and they are looking for a partner, you know. And this is the situation now also with my friend, let's call her a Sally. She's 32 years old and actually from Yogyakarta. She is a Christian. She was married for 7 years, yeah, and she has a 7-year-old boy, as I just mentioned, and she got divorced a while ago, and now she is in Taiwan. And of course she told me her story. I wanted to know because I can learn something about Indonesian culture, right? So she told me that, because I also wanted to know, you know, why did you get divorced? What was the problem? She told me in her relationship with her ex-husband, an Indonesian husband, she always was loyal, yeah, and she divorced him basically because of money. money issues, money problems, the money matter. From the start of their marriage, the guy never really supported financially. No financial support from him at all. She did all the financials, so she worked and raked in the money, but this guy apparently didn't do anything. He didn't work, he had no job, and he solely relied on her income. So a completely upside down situation, especially for Indonesian culture, which is actually still a traditional and conservative culture, where the gender roles are clearly defined. The man is the provider and the protector, the leader, the guy with the mission and a purpose, right? And the woman is the one who takes care of the household and the kids and this and that. It's also a big job, a tough job, right? But in Sally's situation, it was really upside down. Yeah, she told me he was just so lazy, this guy. And I've been hearing it so often from Indonesian women, especially the divorced ones. They complain about this issue, that their ex-husbands were just lazy. Okay. I was thinking about this also. In Germany it's different. I mean, you have also many people who get divorced in Germany, for example, or I don't know, in France, Spain, America, the Western countries, right? But what is the reason of the divorce? Yeah, maybe violence, abusive relationships, and domestic violence and other stuff, but cheating and this and that. But I don't really know of any case, let's say in my extended circle of acquaintances in Germany, where a woman suffered from a lazy husband who didn't want to work. I mean, women in Germany anyway work, they have a job. That's the culture. But anyway, this is how it is in Indonesia for some women here. So Sally, my friend, even asked her husband at the time and told him to find a job, to get a job, to earn some money. He decided just to get angry at her, and he didn't take any further action, just stayed at home hanging around. Even they had no money. He also never bought anything for her, for, I don't know, little gifts and things like that, what you sometimes do for your woman, right? Nothing. So her parents, Sally's parents, my friend's parents, also noticed that now she became undernourished actually already and was unkempt, and so physically she started to deteriorating already. So once the parents noticed that something is really going wrong in her marriage, and the husband is obviously not able and not willing to provide and to get his fucking act together, the parents obviously, they helped out. This is what parents do. And her brother and her parents, so they helped with food and money. Imagine that. If you have to help out your daughter, with your own daughter and your own sister, not only with money but with food, because your husband is not doing anything. She also told me that she worked, she was pregnant then, a few years ago, and she worked until 2 days before her delivery of her baby, because she was the one who worked and raked in the money, right? Sally also told me that she took care of the baby, and this guy, her husband, at the time her husband, he didn't do anything. He didn't take care of the baby, he wasn't interested in doing anything. The good thing though is, she just told me the other day that now the child, her son, is now in her custody. So the courts in Indonesia decided to give the child, her son, to Sally, to the mother. Yeah, I mean, anything else wouldn't make any sense, because the guy, he was just useless basically. Yeah. Disclaimer here quickly, this is the story she told me. Yeah, obviously I know there are always two sides to the coin, and there's always also another story by the guy, but I just share the story here now with you today because it's very common. I receive these stories quite a lot, you know. And yeah, she was in a very, very difficult situation, and she then also told me, you know, Marcel, in Indonesia, being a submissive woman and demanding nothing is not really good. That is just her experience, because Indonesian women by culture here and by tradition are actually submissive women. But this is nothing bad. This is the relationship dynamic here in Indonesia. Many men misunderstand that, and they think, I need a submissive woman because then I can tell her what to do and I'm the boss. Yeah, these are the dysfunctional males who don't understand. These are the dysfunctional males who actually have their own shit not together, or who don't have their act together, and they think they need to play Pasha and the boss because they are themselves insecure and immature, you know. But no, a healthy woman in Indonesia, a psychologically healthy woman with a healthy background, she is happy to submit, to be submissive in a relationship, because that's the role of the woman here, and this is how they see themselves. There's nothing wrong. The guy is the leader, he leads the way, he provides and this and that. The guy has his job to do and the woman has her job to do. Yeah? And there are also dynamics and situations where the husband is listening to the wife here in Indonesia. You know, it's not like, but she says, you know, her experience is actually, she was also submissive, because this is also kind of the duty of the women here in Indonesia. This is how they agree to that, they see it that way. But you know, Sally, my friend, made a very different and bad experience, so being submissive didn't really help her at all. So that's why she came to that conclusion. It's actually very sad, right? But now she is in Taiwan, working as a caretaker, far away from her son, from her mom, from her family in Yogyakarta. And I can tell you, she has a very tough life there. She basically is 24 hours on standby, because she has to take care of a very, very old, a 98-year-old Chinese grandfather there in Taiwan, in Taipei. But she has no other choice. She told me that in order to make more money than in Indonesia, she actually decided to go to Taiwan and work as a domestic helper, like so many Indonesian women do. And many of these women come from a similar background, you know. Domestic helpers, domestic workers, Indonesian domestic maids who work in Hong Kong, Singapore, the Middle East, Taiwan, and probably even Japan and Korea. Many of these women, you know, they are single moms, they are divorced, husband ran away, this and that, but they need to finance themselves, so they sacrifice and say, okay, like Sally, I go to Taiwan even I don't want to. So there you actually can see how responsible these women really are. They are really responsible and mature actually, but she is suffering a lot, you know. Also she has sleep disorders and many other things. She has psychological problems also, and no wonder, you know. I mean, this is a very difficult situation. So she also told me that she was always feeling like a giving in her relationship, in her previous relationship with her ex-husband, and he just took things for granted. Okay. And now I think we can understand a little bit better, or you can maybe understand a little bit better, why these Indonesian women are disappointed with Indonesian men, and why they are on the dating sites contacting Western guys. You know, it's not. It's understandable. Yeah, they've had it with these Indo men, and they say, you know what? I try my luck with a Western guy. Yeah, I mentioned this already. Many women gave me similar reasons, you know, and now they just want to date a Western man, because I also asked them, you know, so why do you pick a Western man, you know? And in there, you know, some guys say, these girls they are just after your money and your wealth or your passport. No, that's why I'm sharing this story here. There are also other reasons. You have to just try to be a little bit empathetic here and sympathetic with these girls and ladies, yeah, and put yourself in their shoes. If you experience something like this, like Sally did, my friend, and you are really fed up with Indonesian men, then they go for the Western guys, because at the end of the day the women also they have certain needs and desires, and they want a partner. They want to be in a happy, normal, functioning, healthy relationship. They want a guy who can be the father, the provider and the protector for the children, but also for the woman, right? They just want a normal life, a normal, stable relationship. They want to meet a guy who is financially obviously stable and emotionally stable, yeah. And this ex-husband here I was talking about, he was not emotionally stable nor financially stable, yeah? So how many Indo men she wants to try, yeah? No, I absolutely understand this decision. And this is the background of many of these women, you know. So they try the Western guys because they also hear some other stories about the Western man, and there are certain stereotypes flying around also about Western men. And many Indonesian women are married to Western men, and they also share their stories, you know. And they were married to Indonesian guys before, and then the thing didn't work out, and now they are married to Western guys, and they're so happy, and they share their stories, you know. So more and more Indonesian women give it a try, you know. They just want to be in a happy relationship. I have another friend who is also divorced. Very attractive woman, 34 years old, 2 kids, 12 years old and 6. She is really attractive. I don't know why she is single. I asked her. She said, you know, I mean, the place she lives in, Sumatra, is a place that no foreigner really goes, you know. So she is stuck there. She says she feels lonely. She wants to marry again. And I asked her, so why don't you choose an Indonesian man? I mean, she is really attractive. I can tell you, she is like hot, you know. She is really hot. She is really beautiful. So I asked her, so why? I don't understand why you can have 10 boyfriends on one finger, right? She said, she don't want an Indonesian man. She is divorced from her ex-husband, and the Indonesian men, she says, they are not loyal, and also apparently her ex-husband was violent or fighting all the time, you know. So this is another reason I hear oftentimes from Indonesian women, that their own husbands are not loyal. This is also what Sally, my friend, told me. When she was married already, when she still lived in Yogyakarta, before her marriage ended up in a disaster, she told me that she was approached by so many Indonesian men, because Sally is also very attractive, and she was working at in the kind of the entertainment industry, not adult entertainment or something. She was just like an MC and, you know, doing promotional work for companies and stuff like that, events, public events and stuff like that. So she told me she was married. She was approached by so many other married Indonesian men who just wanted sex with her. So same story. The Indonesian men, they don't. I don't know. I don't want to judge this whole thing, but I just can tell you what I've been told. You know. So, but there is truth to that, because this also confirms my own experience by living and working in Indonesia, actually. But anyway, that's the story for today. So just wanted to shed some light on this issue, give you some background information, what is really the case for many women, and what really went on in their marriage. And yeah, you know, Indonesian people, men, women, are also just human beings, right? Shit happens just because it is officially a Muslim country and traditional and this and that. Human beings all have desires and needs, and they try to live them out and act them out, you know, and get them meet. So yeah, this is all facade, and then behind the curtain you see a lot of shit going on, a lot of drama, a lot of bad things and disappointment, and yeah, but more and more girls take the courage and get a divorce. They get it done, and then they want to start a new life. It's just understandable, right? And if they conclude that no, I don't want an Indonesian man anymore, I had enough of it, I try now the Western guys, then I think it makes sense also, right? And then it's nothing because she is a gold digger and just want to move to Australia. This is you have these girls also, of course, but you know, many of the women I know, the single moms, they are normal, regular, really good women. I'm not saying they are holy and also did not do any mistakes in the past, but you know, this is just a story. You can now take it or leave it. I hope it could help a little bit and improve your understanding about the situations here of some women in especially the divorced single moms here in Indonesia. And yeah, I still believe they are of course worth dating, you know. Depends on you, what you want. You want to raise kids from a different guy or not, but this is a different topic. I will conclude this video now. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. What is your experience? Have you dated single Indonesian moms? Yes, no. Do you like? Do you don't like? And I actually, one of my good friends is actually married to a British guy, and she has a son also. No issues, no nothing. The guy is happy. They live here also on Bali, in Ubud. They're running a small guest house, you know. Everything's cool. She is happy. He is happy. Okay, that's it, guys. Checking out. Looking forward to your comments, and then I'm gonna see you in one of my next videos. Take care. Bye bye.